Alright, hello. I have a couple of updates for you today about Europa Universalis 5, the game that we're all desperately hoping reaches its potential. So, for starters, today they released a Q&A answering a bunch of questions from the community, from Reddit, forums, Bilibili, all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to go through and do like a reaction to every single question or really any of it, but I'm saying this is something that you might want to go and watch. And if you hover over the bar at the bottom, you can kind of see what the questions were. I do find this one a little bit interesting. Any plans to make it easier to unlock achievements? I'm going to play just this one.
Hey Billy, are there any plans to make it easier to unlock achievements?
Yeah, that's our plan. We in the 1.3 will remove the Iron Man and the modding thingy, whatever. So if you want to just have a mod that gives you all the achievements, feel free to do that. And if you want to have your UI mods and or localization mods, feel free to do it. You'll
Uh, don't think he's entirely too pleased about the change that's been made there. Which I mean, obviously we knew that Yuan was not in favor of being able to get achievements without Iron Man mode. So in that regard, I do kind of understand it. Personally, I supported that as well. I think I don't think this is an amazing change, but I think there's basically one reason why I think this could be a good change, and that is because of things like this. UI mods. Historically in EU4, you've been able to get achievements with UI mods, and that was always fine and worked, and that was a good thing. And because UI is like more powerful, I guess, in EU5 than it ever was in EU4, that became something that couldn't happen anymore. If they could have a system where they could flag certain mods as you are Iron Man slash achievement compatible, you are not, you are not, that would be personally my preferred system. But at the same time, that's an insane amount of work that I don't think anyone should really expect them to do. Um, so I guess eventually you will be able to just get achievements with mods, though some achievements are still kind of broken. Guy tried to get the Ming achievement, Hongwu D, an hour ago, and it's still fucked because certain things just don't work properly. So that's kind of another strike against the idea of, yeah, no, achievements should be moddable, because stuff like this just kind of screws you, and that doesn't feel good. I know my friend Jake, when doing the Sweden achievement, where you have to win the Protestant League as Sweden, ended up doing that campaign like 3 or 4 times, which he was happy to do so because he really likes playing Sweden. But he had to do that 3 or 4 times just to get the achievement, which is like, yeah, at that point, it kind of feels naff to have to go through that experience a bunch of times just for something that you should be able to get the first time. Anyway, what we're actually here for today is this. We have a beta patch update, 1.3.2. So the problems that I pointed out in the previous beta patch, that being that the stockpiles were messing with the economy, and plagues being absolutely rancid, hopefully have been fixed. Let's have a look at what we got. So we stopped the Union of Crowns from firing if the player is a female heir. Changed or dissolved the disenfranchised Demi estates to feed their political weight into the nobles instead of peasants. Economy. They doubled the per ship maritime presence values. Another problem that people were finding in 1.3 so far is that ships, sure, their maintenance and such were doubled in their goods, but that also made ships monstrously expensive. Like, rancidly expensive. Like, incredibly crazily expensive. I'm going to go into E5 now and just Sorry, I was just looking at Milan because it's just something I do sometimes. Let's go into like the Papal States. I just want to see what the price of the ships are here, because I do have I have got the update here. So if we go into navies, build ships, galleys at 99, cogs at 96. I think that is cheaper than it was yesterday. Because I've seen people saying that they had cogs at like 400, 500 ducats before, which seems absolutely nuts. But it is basically all based on these prices, right? If you have your naval supplies really cheap, your tools really cheap, lumber really cheap, weaponry really cheap, etc., these prices are going to go down. Base cost still obviously being 100. I think 33% is the maximum on all of these. So I don't know if it stacks. Like if you get minus 33 on all of them, like what is the price that we're going to be paying? 0? Probably not. But it does seem like that is something that has been changed, potentially. So I'm sure people will be doing campaigns and being able to report back on that one. Replace the binary pop demand gate with a soft wealth impact ramp. Okay, that's good. That hopefully changes some of the issues that we had with the nobles running out of money and not being able to demand any goods, thereby completely killing your economy. Fixed market stockpile of a good being counted as an extra live supply when calculating that good's price, which dragged prices to the minimum and kept them there for any good with a full reserve. The absolute huge. This is the absolute problem that we had with 1.3. This makes the game probably playable now. Stockpiles only feed exports, not price formation, so full warehouses no longer cause minimum price lock-in. Huge. Allow players to always accept a culture of their estates. Okay, so we had a change, I think, was it in 1.2 or 1.3, where estates would keep their original, or they would have the culture of the majority of those estates. So if you are playing as the Ottomans and you conquer, the Romans, if you had more Greek burghers in your entire country than you had Turkish burghers, then your burghers estate would be Greek, and now you would be able to accept Greek based on that. That's cool. That's fine. Aligned subject loyalty strength comparisons on a 3-pillar basis. What those pillars are, I don't know. Fixed alliances breaking from political coalitions, even when the potential countries couldn't actually join a coalition. That's a huge one. Having my alliances break due to coalitions is something that's been annoying me the entire game. Fixed an issue where the tooltip of the AI voting would imply they're voting for the wrong policy, changed bribing voters, and now takes in the policy you want the country to vote for. They no longer have to have voted first before they take their own opinion. Okay, fair enough. Fixed countries with a capital on the Swiss IO locations not being able to join and being incorrectly counted as not a neighbor of the IO. So, yet another Swiss IO fix. Maybe eventually playing Switzerland will mean that I actually play in Switzerland rather than starting as Savoy and like moving capital to Geneva or something. Seemingly that is the best way to play Switzerland right now. Fixed every AI. Oh, nice. Fixed every AI. Nice. Got it. Done. Sorted. Game fixed. Who votes for revoking the privilege in the HRE not properly turning into subject of the Emperor. Improve the condition tooltip for the laws that enable imperial armories, so it highlights that you actually need to have at least one of the taxation policies which enable the treasury for the HRE, and changed imperial circle bribery to scale with the emperor's economy. Yeah, this was like capped at 100 before, or it cost 100, which early game, that's pretty expensive. After 150 years, that is a trivial amount of money. So scaling with the emperor's economy, it's a good thing. Smallpox, yes. They've been shortened and rarefied, absolutely based. Huge necessary change. Spawn chance has been halved, and the slow to match influenza, and it's added a 15% location spread threshold, so lightly infected edges no longer creep into neighbors forever. Absolutely huge, absolutely amazingly huge. Love that. Rebalanced the overtuned Italian minor advances. So let's see if we can find some of these. If I go into game rules and allow country change, and I remember Pisa had some really good ones. Actually, if I go to world map, it'd be easier. So Pisa now has what? Oh, these are the Tuscan ones. Where do we see content? Here we go. University of Pisa had some max literacy. That's still there. Tax efficiency 3. I think that used to be 5. Discipline 5. I'm pretty sure that was 10, and then tactics was 0.2. I remember seeing that being added. More max literacy there for Pisa. More max literacy. So Pisa still has like all of the literacy, though like most of this is super late game, so that's not, in my opinion, a massive problem. Milan, no one's ever played them, so don't worry about them. What do we got in here? Heavy infantry power 10. I like that. I'll take that. Some literacy is good. Okay, I mean, there's nothing in here that's like super duper like crazy good. But I you know, it's just good to see more stuff being added to Italians, right? Because Italy's a blessed place to play. But yeah, some of these got retuned, so they're no longer as absolutely incredibly crazy. But really, you should be looking at the early, like 1 to 3 ages seem like the most important ones to me. If it's past age 3, it's less important because I'm already in a state of the game where I should be doing very well. And if I'm not, like, I don't know, start a new campaign, right? But either way, some of these being rebalanced, that's probably a good thing. Some of them, like especially for Pisa, were absolutely crazy. Fixed bookmark cap pop inflation, nobles, and all of them created from phantom peasant budget. Okay, didn't know that was a problem. Guelph and Ghibellines fix an issue with the Guelph victory where Italian countries still allowed to join the HRE after a Guelph victory. Change Council of Trent debates to count as failed when a different policy other than the one proposed wins the vote. Fixed 3 missing key rows in the Holy Roman Empire's Imperial Authority tooltip. And then a bunch of event changes. There's an event from Montferrat for Byzantine traditions. Okay, it now converts 10% of nobles in Casale to Greek Orthodox. Interesting. Anything jumping out of the screen at me? Fixed events with the event chain that lets Byzantium give land to Montferrat. I didn't know that was a thing. That's really cool. But all of that, yep, some of those events been nicely fixed and stuff. Preventing Circassia from being formed by nations without Circassian primary culture. This was a huge exploit, right? You could be Italy, form Circassia, and then you have reset your country level. So say you're Italy, you're a tier 4 nation, I think. Circassia tier 1, and then I can go back and form any tier 2, any tier 3, any tier 4, then form Circassia, and then do the whole situation again and again. Like, Circassia was the workaround. In the way that I think Cyprus was in EU4. Or maybe Iceland. Might have been Iceland. Fixed Ottoman's Timariot system, incorrectly granting heavy cav bonuses instead of light cav, causing the Akinji unique unit to receive no benefit. I feel like this happened as well for their Janissaries. There's an advance that gives light infantry bonus, whereas Janissaries, which is what the advance is supposed to represent as well, are heavy infantry. Fixed display of overseas labor rights cabinet action to unlock the guaranteed labor rights gov reform. Fix an issue where the Shield of the Faith reform would not unlock the fortress church building correctly. Change Byzantine influence government reform from Montferrat to affect pop conversion. Let's have just a quick gander at Montferrat. They're here. Do you have something in here related to the Romans? Are you a good tagged play? These aren't actually that incredible, to be honest. And Pavia got nothing in the Pavia patch? Pavia got nothing in the Pavia patch. It's actually crazy. Why? Anyway, back to this. Fixed papacy being able to convert the state religion to Lutheranism. That's crazy. That was ever a thing. Added tooltip to Prussian monarchy to highlight militarized country cabinet action being unlocked by it. That's good to show. Preventing the, I can't pronounce that, buildings from persisting after the owner loses mandate of China. Fixed displayed message from an old Cass's belly cover action, missing part of its description. Reduced appanage subject type versus overload loyalty coefficient. Good. These are annoying when I have too many of a certain type of... Oh, ooh, actually, this might rebuff France. Like, France got, like, heavily nerfed in 1.3. This might bring them a little bit back. Although, without affecting early 100 Years War balance, maybe they've taken that into account. So, okay. Reduced invite to campaign against Byzantium interaction. I don't know what this is from. Is this like a... either Ottomans or Bulgarian system, I think. Stop Montferrat being able to bother countries that haven't already said yes to their campaign against Byzantium. Like, what kind of content does Montferrat have? I'm going to have a look at that. Oh, wait. That's this. This must be a Montferrat thing. I'm going to have to play a game as Montferrat. Fixed order the Ermine being assigned to Bremen instead of Brittany. Okay. Fixed Reform Mameluke and Reformed Mameluke Horseman units from having unintended additional combat bonus. Yeah, they had huge combat bonuses to those units early on. I think Ludi was the one that brought that to Dev's attention, so it's good that that one has been fixed. Mamelukes don't need to be OP. They probably shouldn't be. Fixed Varangians not being upgradable outside of capital. Fixed 9 unique ships showing no upgrade button. Hugely necessary. So Genoese Galley, Catalan Galley, Hanseatic Cogs, etc., can now be actually upgraded. Fixed handgunners not upgrading into early arquebusiers, since unit upgrades are restricted to the same unit category. Handgunners have been moved to light infantry. Yes! Okay, I thought this was a mistake. Sorry, or not mistake, but intended that handgunners counted as heavy infantry. Because, I mean, I pointed out and then I was showed that, oh, but they're wearing, you know, a breastplate, blah, blah, blah. That's really nice that we now have them as light infantry. That means I can get a bit more of my combined arms bonus really early in the game. Love that. While keeping her original heavy combat profile. I guess they were, this was intended for them to be heavy infantry, but yeah, that's good. This also resolves the Byzantine players being forced to upgrade them into Varangians. Good. Fixed tooltip for enforce Scalica demands peace treaty incorrectly displaying country instead of the actual country name. Fixed tooltips for the peace treaty demands for Scaliger War. Fixed Sweden double dipping into manpower bonuses after forming Scandinavia. I mean, good. Benign diplomats added more subject opinion. Integrated elites doubled monthly diplomats. Tribute system added loyalty. Fixed 20 Italian culture-specific advance icons not being shown. Fixed African pop icons. Fixed Hungarian Luxembourg variant causing Hungary to use a randomized flag. Some diplomacy fixes. Corrected historical AI personality assignments. Though, for this one, I recommend anytime you play, you change your game rules for the... Is it flavor? At the bottom... AI personalities, change it to random per ruler. I know my face is in the way, hold on. Hey, face. Nope, that's not it. Face, move out of the way. Change your AI personalities to random per ruler, rather, because if you do historical, right, every country essentially has their presets, right? Very few besides that. If you go random per ruler, every country basically gets a personality, and it will change every succession. Obviously, it's not happening this time because I just opened it up. But if, say, the all of this has no personality, Hess, no personality, as soon as Hess dies, there will be a personality. And I think that is a good thing. Let me move my face back where it's supposed to be. Made AI less likely to spam the Emperor with a request to become an elector. Adjusted the AI's reason to vote for policy. Fixed an exploit where the AI accepted any cell work of art offer regardless of the artwork's value. Add an AI modifier scores for land morale attrition cost, and land morale movement cost modifiers. Fixed issue where the AI armies belonging to countries of defensive stance would sometimes hang around in hostile territory instead of returning home. Alright, good that that's been fixed. That sounds pretty naff, like not being able to remove their remove their levies if they're in another country, or just taking attrition with their regulars. That'd be crazy. Tightened AI prerequisites on state emergency actions, fixed subject loyalty tooltip, added icons for imperial circles, some artwork fixes, and then some bug fixes. Fixed map modes not working on sea tiles, fixed some crashes, anything in here that's huge. Lend unit to ally doing nothing on levy armies. So I didn't realize that this could be used on levies. I don't think it ever should have been. But yeah, apparently that's been fixed. Levy containing armies can no longer be selected for lending. I still need to work out how this works. I haven't done it yet, and I really want to make sure that this... I want to be able to use my units when I lend them out. I don't want them to be used by the AI. Like, I want a condottieri system back in the game. Mostly for multiplayer, I'm not going to lie. But also, I think it's just going to be better in general. Mandatory elections. Check readiness against cached elector votes. Okay. Various performance optimizations. Good and more performance stuff. Pop demand calculations. Skip locations with no market. Good. Alright. Great power map mode also adds color depending on subjects. Seems like the fixes that I needed for me to play 1.3 have been fixed, and therefore I am more interested in playing... Don't do that. I'm more interested in playing 1.3. I wasn't interested before with the smallpox and the goods and the economy being absolutely in the bin, but now it's time for another Milan campaign. So... Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys go and enjoy a little bit of EU5, and I will see you guys in the next one. Also, apparently Milan starts at war with Verona now. This was a change that I noticed when I played as Florence. I'm not sure how much I agree with that. I quite like the early Scaliger War thing, especially considering Milan was the war leader in the previous version, and now Venice is. And I don't know how much I agree with that, but anyway, thanks all for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.